Good morning, guys. How are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Liz, and in case you're new, karibu na asante sana. Thank you so much for clicking, subscribing, commenting, liking, and just being here. So, this morning, I want us to learn something concerning our reproductive health, especially women. Do you know the functions of your reproductive system? Do you know why this part is important? Do you know why you have this part? Its importance, its benefit, and why we're treated with it. Like haiko tu hapo kukua hapo, and it's holy. Yes. So, and why we should be against FGM. The other day I was watching this guy on YouTube called Eastern TV, and there's this lady. I'm sorry, I'm going to mention it, but I'm sorry. I really felt so tired. I was really touched about um, that act that she underwent FGM, and the advantage that the husband took afterwards. It's not good. So it is important to have all your parts intact. Usikubali part yako itolewe. And you should fight, you should stand against FGM because that part that was removed has its own benefit that you need no one to tamper with it. That you need no one to play around with it. So you need it. And the female reproductive system, unakwanga tu hapo juu, hii part inaitwaje, hii inaitwaje, unajuanga tu ni vagina. But do you know there's more to the vagina? You can't even maybe see the vagina because tunasemanga tu ni vagina, but there's a lot more to learn. Why your part is there, why it is needed, and so forth and so forth. So, external genitalia, in brackets vulva, it consists of various parts. We have the labia majora, labia minora, we have the hymen, we have the clitoris, we have the vaginal orifice, we have the vestibular hymen, and the vestibular glands, which is known as the Bartholin's gland. And you need to know why are these parts important. So mimi nasoma na tuna discuss tukiendelea. So labia majora, back in your mind, try to visualize it. Because what I mean, as I talk about it, I'm visualizing everything. Labia majora, there are two large folds. So when I say two large folds, put it in mind, take a mirror, sit yourself there, and look, utawachi video ukiangalia. Labia majora are two large folds forming the boundary of the vulva. They are composed of skin, fibrous tissues, and fat, and contain large number of sebaceous glands. Anteriorly, the folds join in front of the symphysis pubis, and posteriorly they merge with the skin of the perineum. During childbirth, we always told to support the perineum to avoid too much tear, to avoid trauma. So you support. So nikisema posteriorly they merge with the skin of the perineum, unafaa ujue like there are two large folds. Look at yourself in this picture, woman, or you, bro, pale nje. You know what I'm talking about. This is what an under 18 talk. So inaenda hivyo hadi kwa perineum down there. During puberty, hair grows on the mons pubis and at later surface on the labia majora. Now you get why I say the labia majora are two large folds. Where you're having a pubic hair, hapo ndio tunaita labia majora. Ikiextend hivyo, ikienda chini to the perineum. And during childbirth, you support the perineum to avoid too much tear. Because tear again is another trauma. It will take time to heal. Itatear lakini kidogo. You can give an episiotomy. Ama mtu yako but you can prevent, you can support, you support it ndio isilaruke sana. So the labia majora ndio hiyo part pale juu where your pubic hair grows. It's what we call the labia majora. If you didn't know, now you know. Labia minora, these are two smaller folds of skin between the labia majora containing numerous sebaceous glands. The cleft between the labia minora is the vestibule. Cleft between. Now the vestibule, you see, you having the labia majora. You can't explain like visually. The labia majora, and then ndani kidogo you have the labia minora, and then that cleft, ikale kanyama, Yes, that's the vestibule. The vagina, urethra, and the ducts of the greater vestibule glands open into, the vagina, urethra, and ducts of the greater vestibular glands open into the vestibule. So, one of the vestibule, sorry, you're having your the majora, the minora ziko ndani, and then that's cleft. It is the vestibule gland. Clitoris corresponds to the penis in male and contains sensory nerve endings and erectile tissues but has no reproductive significance. Here's the interesting fact. The clitoris corresponds to the penis. You know the work of the penis. In penetration, openings where urine passes and semen and sperms, the seminal fluids. Now, the clitoris, interesting fact here is some ladies, they will not, layman's language, come if you don't feel or if you don't, this is a difficult one, if you don't touch or with the clitoris. In other words, we call it foreplay. So, so if you don't give your woman or your partner enough foreplay, some don't even come, or like they don't reach that phase whereby they become a mirror. Yes, they'll be wet, but they will not come. I think it's coming. Just have sex, she's wet and everything, but there's a point you have to touch. Now, this is the point, this is the part you have to touch. This is the part you have to play with for her to reach that maximum pleasure and so forth and so on. If you didn't know, now you know. Ask the experts. Hymen, thin layer of mucous membrane that partially occludes the opening of the vagina. It's normally incomplete to allow passage of the menstrual flow. And once you break a virginity, you break the hymen. But it is partially occludes the opening of the vagina. And when you deliver, someone was delivered and someone wasn't delivered, the hymen, there's a difference. Not that kuna difference kubwa, but once you deliver, it won't go back to the initial of how it was. And being a virgin at the same time and an unvirgin, there's some things you cannot do. Like you can't do my friend told me something. I don't know. But there's a thing that you cannot do to a virgin girl. Yes, because the hymen is still intact, is still closed. You probably might be tampering with it, and of course, breathing virginity is a bit uncomfortable because you're opening up, but it won't open up kabisa. It is only partially open to allow the flow of the menstrual period. Vestibular glands are situated on one each side near the vagina opening. They're about the size of a small pea and have ducts. They secrete mucus that keeps the vulva moist. Now, as a woman, you're not even supposed to be dry. If you're dry, that is infections. You're always where to have it is healthy, so don't tell yourself, don't go about asking yourself, I'm not normal. Wait, you are supposed initially we are supposed to do it. So the main thing behind wetness and everything, the mucus that keeps the vulva moist, it is right. It is healthy, it is normal because one, it is preventing you from getting infections. The pH, you see, you don't get those infections. Vaginal dryness only comes after One is past menopause. Past menopause, you might have vaginal dryness, but before then, you're not supposed to experience vaginal dryness. If it does, that is a pathology, that is an infection. So, what is responsible for secreting for keeping it moist and secreting the mucus? It is what we call vestibular gland. So if you get wet, you good, babe, uko sawa. And then, okay, my lecturer told me perineum is not part of the reproductive system, but iko. I don't know why. So we have the perineum. It is an area extending from the base of the labia minora to the anal area. Ile smoker nikisema the labia majora inakuja hivyo, then like I'm trying to visualize it kwa hivyo. So between the opening of the vagina vulva and the anal area, you have that part inafanya kama it's sort of this shaped. Is it V, sort of V or triangle shaped TV? We call it perineum. It is roughly triangular, yes, and consists of connective tissues, muscle, and fat. It gives attachment to muscles of the pelvic floor. And also during childbirth, kama mtoto amekuwa mdogo, amekuwa mkubwa, sorry, you can give an episiotomy to allow the passage of the baby, and then also have to support the perineum to avoid too much tear during childbirth. I think I've learned something. If you didn't know, this part is important for this clitoris, sensory organ. When you're already wet, when you're already like gets sexually stimulated, some needs to be aroused, and the place to touch it is the clitoris. And then don't allow your. Do you do the FGM on the? Because when I heard that lady say walikata hiyo nyama na nyama tu iko hapo ni I think it's the vestibule. So don't allow it to be cut kwa sababu ya vestibule at the same time. You know one thing with maybe kuna mtu ajui where you have your menstrual period and where you have your urine, like they're totally different openings or holes. So if you're going to cut the vestibule, you're tampering a bit with the urinary passage outflow, and it's not good because that lady was like, it's not easy to heal. You will have too much bleeding because there's blood supply to the area. She complained of bleeding and it bleeds sana na ni uchungu, you're making sex uncomfortable, and some men will be like she's not sexually aroused, how feel the touchy and everything, and it's not a good thing. So let's stand up against the FGM, and let's get to know ourselves. I think the next time we'll do about the external parts of male, penis, urethra, hizo zote. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Please subscribe if you haven't, and if you want to know more about your reproductive system, the external, watch this, do it practically, and then know the importance of each part. This is out. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you on my next video. Until then, keep safe and health as well.